Here's a painting of Dover Harbour in England based on a photo I took a couple of months ago when I was there, and I was obviously attracted to the beautiful dramatic sky and the sunlight hitting that bit of ocean there right in the corner of the harbour. Now this video is a time lapse, but I'm sure you can follow even at this speed. I start off by wetting the paper with clean water, but I'm leaving out a few patches where I want the sunlight to be really bright in that gap between the clouds and then also that patch on the ocean water. I've mixed 3 sets of greys, one with a pretty strong blue bias, almost a purple, then one with a warmer bias. That's the one at the top there in my palette, and then a lighter grey which has quite a bit of lavender in it, which makes it a bit creamy and a bit more solid. And then in the top left, I'm going to add a little bit of cerulean, just a hint at some blue skies hidden behind those dark clouds. Now in this middle section where the sun breaks through, I'm going to be a bit more careful with my edges. But other than that, this is a very wet wash, and I keep dropping in darker and darker pigment, slowly build up the tonal values of my clouds. And I got to make sure I keep it wet and not let any of the patches dry, because I feel that one bloom or cauliflower would completely ruin this sky. So no pressure if you're trying this at home. This is a relatively small size of paper, 20 by 28 centimeters. It's just A4 in international standards, and a good size if you're just starting out. And I just tip my board up a bit so that I can let some of the water run back up. I don't want to have too many drips in there. It's not a rainy sky, it's just a really dark, heavy sky. It was after the rain. We had quite a bit of rain on the crossing from Calais over to Dover. And then I'm lifting out a few streaks just with a clean brush to get a little bit more light and a bit more texture into those clouds. And softening a few edges here and there. That's pretty much my sky. It's all done in one wash. The bottom edge has started to dry a little bit, so I'm just going to drag a wet brush over it so that I don't get any hard edges. And then I've mixed another color which is very dark, got a fair bit of indigo now in it, and I'm going to connect that. I'm just drying off the edge where I want that sunlight to hit. And then I mix some more of a ocean color with a bit blue and a very slight green tint in it, and then I'm going to join that up with the rest of the painting. Even though the mix is lighter, I don't have a lot of water in it, so that I can dry brush around that sunny patch. And then a darker and greener mix for where the headland and the harbour is going to go. And I'd left a little gap between the bottom of the clouds and the ocean, just so that indigo could settle before I joined them up, which I'm doing now. And I've added a bit of yellow into my blue mix just to get a bit of an ocean colour. That needs to be completely bone dry before I continue. And the first thing I do is lift out a few more highlights out of my cloud to enhance that feeling of the sun trying to break through those stormy clouds. Time for the harbour walls to go in, and it was just so perfect that the corner was in that bit of sunlight there. One of the reasons I was so attracted to this scene. And I'm rotating the board when I have to paint a straight line so that it is in the natural movement of my arm and my wrist. And you can see I'm almost drawing it in like I would be using a pencil. It's very thick paint at this point, very dry. And then I'm just scribbling in lines. That's just got to give us the illusion that there is buildings and cars and containers in that area where the big boats are docked. This is where the ferries load and unload. And I give it no detail. With a bit more green into that same dark mix, I'm going to dry brush in a bit of grass texture for that headland up on which I'm standing. Actually, I'm standing on the cliffs of Dover. And then with very pale lavender dry brushing a little bit more texture into the sunny patch. And then I also realized once I took the tape off that foreground bit was a little bit flat, so I also dry brushed in a bit of texture into the ocean. A signature on, and I'm done. The painting took about half an hour to complete. Give me a like and let me know in the comments if the time lapse works for you.